Welcome back all. Next we have with us Lakshmi MD. She's a blockchain trainer and research engineer at Kerala Blockchain Academy with more than 2 years of experience in the blockchain domain. Her area of interest includes Hyperledger Fabric, Hyperledger Sawtooth, and Hyperledger Indy. She is also an active contributor to the Java community with a prior experience of working more than 3 years in the Java development domain. On behalf of KB Women Connect, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to you, Lakshmi, for sharing your knowledge on Blockchain Bootcamp for Women. With no further ado, over to you, Lakshmi. Thank you for joining once again.
Thank you, Anju, for giving me this opportunity. This session is about Hyperledger Sawtooth. I think after attending all these sessions, you all have understood the basic concepts about blockchain technology, is it? And you also heard about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all. Coming to Bitcoin and Ethereum, they are actually public blockchain networks. Public blockchain network means anyone can join the network, can do transactions, and can participate in consensus and all. That is, there is no restriction on participation. But such type of a network is not suitable for an enterprise-based or business applications, because most of those business applications are meant for a particular group of people. So as you all know that this blockchain guarantees various features such as it is decentralized, it is distributed, it is immutable or tamper-proof. Means the data or transaction that is written into the blockchain is permanent. It cannot be altered. And also there are many other features such as it is traceable, it is transparent, and the system is cryptographically secured and all. So due to this wide variety of promising features, many organizations wanted to implement their product or applications using blockchain technology. And many started research on developing a solution for building blockchain application in a permissioned environment. And here comes this Hyperledger. Hyperledger is actually an open source collaborative effort that that focuses on developing solutions that are suitable for business enterprise grade blockchain deployment. This Hyperledger is hosted by one of the world's leading open source community, that is Linux Foundation. So under Hyperledger, it is not a single project. Under Hyperledger, you can see multiple projects, not only projects like various frameworks, tools, libraries are available under this Hyperledger. So we can call this Hyperledger as an umbrella project, or we can call it as a greenhouse. Then coming to its objectives. The main Hyperledger aims at building blockchain solutions such that it will be very much cost effective, and also the complexity should be minimum. Then only people will adopt blockchain technology. So in the case of Ethereum and all, you may have seen that Ether is needed for executing transactions. That is, there is a transaction fee and all for executing the transactions and all. So, but in the case of business operations, there are a huge number of transactions will be there. So it is not feasible to pay a transaction fee for each of these transactions. And also coming to the complexity, in the case of Ethereum and Bitcoin, you may have seen that they are using a consensus algorithm called proof of work. So in the case of proof of work, there is a concept called mining. Mining means like miners are separate nodes that which are creating the blocks. So in order to create a block, these miners have to needs a high computational power for solving a cryptographic puzzle. So such type of complexity is not suitable for a business and business or enterprise based applications. And also coming to the case of enterprise compatibility of blockchain systems. This Hyperledger focuses on developing solutions such that the various blockchain systems should be interoperable. That is, different organizations have different kind of requirements, and this Hyperledger focuses on developing solutions such that it satisfies most of the features that are required for an enterprise application. And also, it should ensure enterprise compatibility between different blockchain systems. Then coming to the third point, in Hyperledger there is an open technical governance structure, which actually proposes various rules or protocols or tools that should be followed, frameworks that should be followed in enterprise applications, so that it allows interoperability between the various blockchains. Then here is the website of Hyperledger, that is www.hyperledger.org. And in this site, you can see what all latest developments are happening under this Hyperledger world. And you can also see the various associate members. That is, Hyperledger actually started with very few member companies, like about 30 member companies were there, like during its initial stage, that is during in 2015-2016 period, there were only very few member companies such as IBM, Intel, R3, Consensus, and Monax, Soramitsu, and all. But now you can see that there are more than 250 companies are partner to this Hyperledger, and they are also actively contributing to this Hyperledger world. And you can also see that KB is also a learning partner of Hyperledger. And all the projects that comes under this Hyperledger is open source. That is, its code and all, everything is available in GitHub. So we can use this code, we can go through the code and all. And if we are finding any issues or we are finding any problem at any point of stage, we can post the issue with the concerned team, and they will be looking into it. And we can also suggest some modifications also to this Hyperledger, to the various projects under this Hyperledger. And there is a technical steering committee is there, which will go through all the proposals and all. And if it is a valid proposal, they will be publishing it under this Hyperledger. So in this figure, you can see the various projects under. You can see the various projects under this Hyperledger. They are mainly classified into distributed ledgers, libraries, tools, and domain-specific projects. Distributed ledger means they are actually platforms that can be used for developing various enterprise-based blockchain applications. I think the term distributed ledger is familiar to all of you, is it? A distributed ledger means the ledger is distributed among all the nodes in the network. That is, every node will be having a copy of the ledger. Ledger is actually a means for recording the transactions. So that is the term distributed ledger. And coming to each of these distributed ledger, the first one is some of these, like you can see that about almost 16 projects are there currently under this Hyperledger, and some of them are still in incubation. That is, initially the project will be submitted as in incubation mode, and later after final testing and all, it will be production ready. That is, its stable version will be released. So here you can see that Fabric, Indy, Iroha, and Sawtooth are production ready. That is, its stable version is available, but all other projects are still in incubation. Then coming to each of one, the first one is Hyperledger Besu. Hyperledger Besu is actually a Java-based. Hyperledger Besu is actually a Java-based Ethereum client. Ethereum client means like it is actually like in the case of Ethereum network, to become a node in the network, we need Ethereum client handle. So this Besu actually works as an Ethereum client, and this Besu actually supports both permissioned and public blockchain network. Then coming to the next project, next framework, that is Hyperledger Barrow. Barrow actually supports Ethereum. That is, it provides a permissioned environment for running Ethereum smart contract. As you all know, that Ethereum is actually meant for a public blockchain network. But if you want to run Ethereum smart contract in a permissioned environment, we can go for Hyperledger Barrow. Hyperledger Barrow provides a permissioned Ethereum virtual machine for running these smart contracts. Then coming to Hyperledger Fabric. Hyperledger Fabric is one of the widely used framework for building various business blockchain applications. And it was introduced by IBM. And there are so many real world projects are also running in under this Hyperledger Fabric. Using Fabric, so many use cases are also available over internet, and so many real world applications are also running on Fabric. Then coming to Hyperledger Indy. Hyperledger Indy is a project mainly for managing digital identities. So which is based on it is actually based on a concept called decentralized identity. And also there is a one more term is there, that is self-sovereign identity. Self-sovereign identity means the user have the control of managing his own identity. So these are some of the terms related, some of the features or some of the concepts related to Hyperledger Indy, and mainly used for managing the identity in a secured manner, that too in a decentralized manner. Then coming to Hyperledger Iroha. Hyperledger Iroha is actually a simple project that can be, if we want to convert an existing application into a blockchain application, then we can go for Iroha, because it can because this Iroha is actually having a simple architecture, so that we can easily incorporate it into an IoT based or other infrastructure applications. And Iroha also provides various Android and iOS libraries for developing mobile-based blockchain applications. So, in order to, if we want to develop some mobile applications using blockchain technology, we can opt Hyperledger Iroha. Then coming to Hyperledger Sawtooth. Hyperledger Sawtooth is also another framework that is that can be used for developing various business applications in blockchain technology, and it supports both permissioned and permissionless network, and also provides support for Ethereum smart contract. That is, it can run Ethereum smart contract in a permissioned environment through a separate transaction family called Ceph. So in this section, actually, I will be taking in-depth detail about this Hyperledger Sawtooth. So before starting Hyperledger Sawtooth, let me sort of giving you an overview or idea about this Hyperledger projects and various tools and libraries coming under this Hyperledger. And then coming to the various libraries, we have Hyperledger Aries. Aries actually provides various shared and reusable interoperable toolkit that are needed for managing identities. Like in the case of blockchain applications, the case of permissioned blockchain applications, it give more importance to identity. That is, only those with valid identity are allowed to do transactions in a permissioned blockchain network. So Eris provides the libraries that are needed for managing this identity. That is, for storing or for creating for sharing the digital identities. We can use the libraries that are available under Hyperledger Aries. And also it provides a wallet for storing the keys. That is, in the case of blockchain, mostly user will be having a public private key pair and all are there. For in order to managing the accounts, they need they will be having a private key and public key. So in order to securely keeping the private key and public key, the Aries provides wallets for storing the keys. Then coming to the next library, that is Hyperledger Quilt. Hyperledger Quilt is actually mainly for inter blockchain communication, or it is actually a Java implementation of this interledger protocol. That protocol is mainly used for communicating between different blockchain networks. Then coming to Hyperledger Transact. Hyperledger Transact provides the libraries that are needed for running the transaction, that is, for executing and processing the transaction. Or we can also say that it provides an environment or platform for executing the smart contract. That is because in smart contract we will be specifying that how to execute the transaction and all will be defined in the smart contract. So the transact module actually deals with executing the smart contract and also processing the transaction and all. Then coming to Hyperledger Ursa. In blockchain, you may have seen that various cryptographic concepts are used. Like, for example, there will be signature generation, that is digital signature. Then signature verification will be there. Then key generation. Then encryption, encoding, hashing. So many cryptographic functionalities are used in most of these blockchain projects. So in order to implement these cryptographic functionalities, this Hyperledger Ursa provides the libraries needed for implementing these cryptographic functionalities. Then coming to the various tools under Hyperledger. So the first one is Hyperledger Avalon. Avalon actually provides an execution and secured execution environment for transaction execution. That is, it has come up with the idea of executing the transaction outside the blockchain, that too in a secured manner. So mainly the main objective is to improve the scalability and also to improve and also to achieve more confidentiality. So that is why if the transactions are executed outside the blockchain, we can increase the scalability and also it guarantees much more confidentiality and all. So Hyperledger Avalon provides the platform needed tools. It's a tool that support transaction execution or transaction processing outside the blockchain. Then coming to the next tool, that is Hyperledger Cactus, which is mainly for inter-blockchain communication. So that is, if some data or some value has to be transferred from different blockchain networks, then we can use the tool Hyperledger Cactus. Then coming to Hyperledger Caliper. Caliper is actually a benchmark tool for performing the for measuring the performance of a blockchain network, and the various performance parameters that can be measured using Caliper are such as resource consumption, that is how much of memory or CPU is needed. And then next one is that the transaction throughput, that is how many transactions can be executed per second, and also transaction latency, that is how much time is taken to execute a transaction, and then success rate, that is how many transactions are successfully executed or how many transactions are failed. So all these parameters can be measured using Hyperledger Caliper. Then coming to Hyperledger Cello. Cello actually provides a blockchain as a service. That is, it provides a dashboard with which we can check the status of the blockchain, status of the network, and also we can easily create or start or stop or delete a blockchain network using this Cello tool. Then coming to Hyperledger Explorer. Hyperledger Explorer is actually mainly for viewing the in-depth like blockchain details about the network. That is whether block creation or block creation and all are happening properly. That is, if we want to know that how many blocks have been created and what time each block has been created, and if we want to know that how many transactions are there in a block. So in order to explore all these details about the blockchain, we can use Hyperledger Explorer. It is actually a web application. Then one more is there, that is a domain specific project, which is called Hyperledger Grid. Hyperledger Grid is actually, it provides the libraries, tools and all that are needed for developing a supply chain application. Supply chain is actually one of the popular use case in this permissioned environment. So in order to manage or create a supply chain application, this Hyperledger provides all the tools or libraries needed for building a supply chain application. So these all are a brief description about the various projects, that is various distributed ledgers, libraries, tools, and the domain specific project that comes under Hyperledger. Now let us look more detail about Hyperledger Sawtooth. Hyperledger Sawtooth is actually a framework or platform that can be used for building or deploying or running distributed ledgers. And it actually follows a modular platform or modular architecture. Means like each functionality, each functionality will be managed by different modules. So if we want to add some updation, if we want to update some module, we need to modify only that particular module. So Hyperledger Sawtooth is a modular platform for building, deploying, and running distributed ledgers. Hyperledger Sawtooth was initially contributed by IBM. Let us see the project line of this Hyperledger Sawtooth project. Hyperledger Sawtooth, this Sawtooth project was started in the year 2014 at Intel Labs, and initially its name was Sawtooth Lake, and later in 2016 the Intel has contributed this project to Hyperledger, and then its name has been changed to Hyperledger Sawtooth. And Intel also introduced a consensus algorithm called proof of elapsed time consensus algorithm. So, initially this project was under incubation, and in 2018 January they have released the first stable version of Sawtooth, and in December they have released the next version, that is Sawtooth 1.1, and the latest version, that is Sawtooth 1.2, is released in the year 2019, and it is the currently available latest stable version of Sawtooth. Now let us look at the salient features of Sawtooth. So the first one is parallel transaction execution. So in Sawtooth, there is a parallel scheduler in which allows it can execute independent transactions parallelly. That is, it can more than one transactions, that is more than one independent transactions can be executed parallel. It is mainly to increase the scalability. Like for example, in the case of Ethereum, and all, you may have seen that the throughput, that is the number of transactions that can be executed per second, is only about 15 to 16 transactions per second. And in the case of Bitcoin, it is only about 8 to 9 transactions per second. But for a business or enterprise-based applications, we need to execute a large number of transactions in a short time span. So for that, they have come up with the concept of parallel transaction execution. So if there are independent at the same time, then they can be executed parallelly. But if dependent transactions are coming, we have to execute it serially. Then coming to pluggable, it supports pluggable consensus. That is, in Sawtooth, actually, Sawtooth supports different consensus algorithms such as POET, that is proof of elapsed time, then RAFT, and one more is there, that is PBFT, that is practical Byzantine fault tolerance consensus algorithm. So Sawtooth supports different consensus algorithms. So pluggable consensus means, like, based on the requirement of the network, we can change the consensus. That is, we can plug and play. That is, it is possible to change the consensus algorithm of the Sawtooth network by submitting some transactions. And the next point is, it supports on-chain governance. On-chain governance means, if the Sawtooth network is running, we can change the settings by submitting some transactions. That is, for example, we can change the consensus algorithm, or we can change the permissions of certain nodes, or we can do some other settings. Like if any settings have to be done, changed, we can do it on chain. That is, without stopping the network, we can change the settings. And also, all these settings values are stored in the blockchain. And hence, whatever changes whatever settings we are changing, it will be applicable to all the nodes in the network, because all the settings data, that is settings data transactions, will be stored in the blockchain, and this blockchain will be available with all the nodes in the network. So this concept is called as on-chain governance. That is, Sawtooth supports on-chain governance. The next point is multiple language support. In the case of Ethereum, you may have seen that the developers need to study a language called Solidity for developing Ethereum applications. But in the case of Sawtooth, they provide SDKs. SDKs are available in Python, Go, JavaScript, Rust, Java, and all. So that it is not needed for the developer to study a new language. So he can develop a sort of application in any of these languages which he is comfortable. Because there is this like very stable running SDKs are available. SDKs are available for running a Sawtooth application. Not only running, for building a Sawtooth applications. And the next feature is that Ethereum contract capability. That is, it supports Ethereum smart contracts. Under Sawtooth, there is a project called Seth, which can run Ethereum smart contract in a permissioned network. So that is why we can say that it provides Ethereum. It is Ethereum contract compatibility. So apart from these features, the Sawtooth provides other common blockchain features, such as it is decentralized, distributed, it is traceable, it is transparent, it is auditable. So all those features are also there. And one more feature is also there. In the Sawtooth, there is the cryptocurrency. There is no cryptocurrency, and also there is no transaction fee concept, and all is not there. So, and also mining complexity is also not there in in this sawtooth. So instead they are using a different consensus algorithm. So these are the various features of sawtooth. Now let us look at the various consensus algorithms supported by sawtooth. The first one is proof of elapsed time, that is POET. It is actually a Nakamoto style consensus algorithm, means a lottery based consensus algorithm. And this POET consensus algorithm is suitable for large blockchain network. We can go for this POET consensus algorithm, and this POET is introduced by Intel. And the next consensus algorithm is DOV mode. DOV mode is actually a consensus algorithm that is suitable for developers. That is for development purpose or for testing purpose. The developers can use the DOV mode consensus algorithm, which is a simplified random leader algorithm. Then comes the Raft and PBFT. They both are leader-based algorithm. And in the case of PBFT, like but we can use it only for smaller networks. Like PBFT and all can be used only for smaller networks. But if we are defining an application that should be run for a larger network, we should go for POET consensus algorithm. So these are the various consensus algorithms supported by sawtooth. So let me explain how this POET consensus working. So in the case of POET, a random waiting time will be assigned to all the nodes in the network, and the node which actually waits for the minimum waiting time will be selected as leader. That is for the node whose that is the node which has completed the waiting time first, means that is the node which has got the least waiting time will become the will be selected for proposing the block. And also this particular winner has to provide a proof to other nodes that it has waited for that much particular waiting time, and also it has received the minimum waiting time. So this is how the POET consensus algorithm is working. Now let us look at the various components of sawtooth. The first one is client. So the user will be interacting with the network through this client. So client provides the interface between the user and the network, and the client also is responsible for creating the transactions. Transaction means, like here in a blockchain, like we can call any process or any activity can be called as transactions. Like not like it does not refer only for money transactions. We can any process can be called as transaction, like user registration or user, like so many, like user registration, or like in the case of, consider the case of a land registration application, where we can say that the user registration or land ownership changing, like all these processes can be considered as a transaction. So the client in the sawtooth is responsible for creating the transaction. So the transaction for sawtooth is actually required in a particular format. That is, there will be a transaction header, header signature, a payload, and all will be there. So the creating the transaction will be created by the client. Then comes the transaction processor. This transaction processor is similar to the smart contract. That is, the business logic is actually defined in the transaction processor. That is, how to execute the transaction will be mentioned in the transaction processor. Then coming to the validator. Validator is the main component, like which actually validates the transaction, and will also block creation and all will be done by this validator. Then come to the sawtooth network. That is, if there are multiple nodes in the network, then it will form a sawtooth network. Now let us look at an architecture, or we can say it as a workflow. So here at the top, we can see an expanded figure of a single node. So at the bottom, it actually shows a sawtooth network with about 5 nodes, and a sawtooth network with 5 nodes is actually shown at the bottom, and one such node is actually expanded at the top to view the components of this components of that sawtooth node. So here you can see that there will be client, and the user will be submitting a request to this client, and the client will be create the transactions, and it will submit the transaction to the validator through REST API. REST API actually acts as an interface between the client and the validator. So the client will be submitting the transaction to the validator through REST API. Then validator will initially validates the transaction. That is, it will check whether it is having a valid signature and all. And if it is valid, it will give the transaction to the particular transaction processor for processing or executing the transaction. There will be multiple transaction processors will be there for various functionalities. So based on the type of the transaction, or we can say as based on the transaction family of the transaction, it will send the transaction to that particular transaction processor, and the transaction processor will validate and execute the transaction. And based on the consensus, this block will be created using the various transactions, and the block will be added to the blockchain. So this is the basic workflow about this sawtooth. I'm not going to more technical details because some of you may be new to this concept. So that's all about sawtooth. Now let us look at a sample application using sawtooth. So for that, I will show you a simple sawtooth application. We have an application named as Simple Wallet. It is actually a simple or basic simple sawtooth application with the functionality that a user can deposit money, can transfer money, can view the balance and all. A simple application with minimal functionalities. So in order to demonstrate a sawtooth, this application, this is Simple Wallet. Its name is Simple Wallet, and this application is available in GitHub. You can clone it if needed. I will share the link. So this is the command. So this is I have shared a chat. I have shared it in the chat. So this is where we can access, from where you can access the Simple Wallet application. So git clone is the command for downloading this project from the GitHub. It takes time, so those who are interested, they can do it later. I will post all the commands that are needed for running this application in this chat. So for running this application, first go into that folder and run a command called. For running this application, we actually need Docker. Docker is actually a software platform that is needed for Docker is actually a software platform that is needed for running or deploying or shipping various software applications. So it actually packages the various libraries or various dependencies that are needed for running the application into a single package or into a container, and we can run it easily. Like a separate environment will be created for running our application. So we are using Docker for running this particular application. So here is you can install Docker from this website. I will share the link. This is the link for, the first link is for installing Docker engine, and the next one is for installing the Docker Compose. So both are needed for running a Docker application. So here, let me open this application. And here you can see that there is a file called simple wallet build client by js.yaml. That is a YAML file is there, where actually we will be defining all the containers. That is, in the case of Sawtooth applications, we need a transaction processor, we need a client, and there will be a REST API will be there, and then a validator is there, and also one more transaction processor is there, that is settings transaction processor, which is actually needed for doing all settings. In order to change settings and all, we need a settings transaction processor. So all these separate containers are created for all these components, and when we are running it using Docker. So the command used for running this file is so this is the command sudo docker compose -f and the file name, that is simple wallet build client.js, and up, which is the command. This is the command for running that YAML file. So the password, since I have used sudo. So now it has started creating all the containers that are needed for running this Sawtooth applications. So you can see that the validator, processor, settings transaction processor, REST API, all are starting. So if you are running it for the first time, it will take some time to run all the containers. Let me post the command there in the chat. This is the command for running the YAML file. I think now it has started all the containers, that is client, validator. Then you can also see that Genesis, in the terminal, you can also see that Genesis block is created. So when we are creating the blockchain network, it actually, initially there will be no blocks. So the first block created in the blockchain network is called as Genesis block. So for starting the network, it actually created a Genesis block, and this is the block number, and its block number is 0. And here you can see that there is a previous block ID. In the case of Genesis block, there is no previous block. So hence we can see the value 000 as the previous block ID. And so many other details are also there. So after studying the main Sawtooth concepts, you will understand that what all are displayed over here. And you can also check that what all containers are running there using a command called docker ps. So let me open another terminal. And give the command sudo docker ps. This command actually gives all the containers that are running now. So here you can see that there will be a simple wallet client is there, REST API, then settings TP, then transaction processor, validator. So all our containers are running down now. Now, as I said before, this simple wallet application is actually a simple application, simple sawtooth application, mainly with functionalities such as a user can deposit money to his account, and also he can transfer money to another account and can also view the balance. So, in order to, since it is a permissioned network, we have to create an identity, that is in blockchain applications. Normally for managing identity, they are using a public private key pair is used. That is, every user will be having a public key and a private key. Like public key private key is almost similar to the concept of username and password. So username is similar to the public key and private key is similar to the password. So first we have to create so before that, I need to enter the client container. Then only I can create the users. So this is the command for entering the client. And now we can create a user. Let me create two users named Jack and Jill. So this is the command for generating the public key and private key for the user. That is, sawtooth keygen is the command used for creating key pairs for. So now you can see that a private key and a public key file has been created. Localhost 3000. So now you can see that our application is running. So we have just now we have created two users, that is Jack and Jill. So give the name of Jack. So you are loading. Before that, let me show you some details about blockchain. For that, let me open my Mozilla and give the localhost. So in order to view the details about the block, there is a URL called localhost 8008/block. Actually, this is actually the endpoint of REST API, which we are using here. Blocks is the endpoint used for accessing the block details. And here you can see that we have only created one, there will be inside this block, we can see only one single block, that is block 0. So this is actually the Genesis block, that is only one block has been created. So now we are going to do some transaction, that is in our application, let us deposit some money. Let me deposit 500 rupees. So we can see that a transaction has been happened. So now let us look into the, just refresh it, and you can see that now there are two blocks have been created. That is, the first one is the one which is listed at the bottom will be the Genesis block, and the last one, the one which is at listed top will be the current block which has been created. So since we have done a transaction, it has created a block. By looking at the terminal also, we can see that like you can see that another block number 1 has been created, and there is a previous block ID is there. That is, it is actually the hash of the Genesis block. So previous block ID, then so many other details are also there. I am not going to much detail. So this is how a sawtooth application running, and this is how we can view the blogs, and this is how the blogs are created. Now I think the time is getting over, so let me stop. So in order to stop this network, just press Ctrl C. So these containers will be stopping, and after completing, you should give the command after everything, every container has been shut down. Let us give the command docker compose down command is given. So once giving this command, it will stop the network. So this is the last command which need to be given. So once you are free, you can try it out. You will get the code from the GitHub, and you can clone it and try out these commands. That's all about the demo.